We need to be prepared for a low season. Everybody in Dubai with an Airbnb will give this immense discount.
What type of premium do you make above the rent all year long?
So let's take one unit as an example. Let's say I have one unit in downtown that is, the rent is 180,000. It has a nice view and revenue at the end of the year could be, if I do a good job, approximately 300,000 dirhams. The demand is so incredibly low in low season right now, and the temperatures are skyrocketing. It can be like 50 degrees Celsius. It's very, very hot. So you need to be prepared for a low season. And how I do that is I make sure that my listings are on point. I need to be a super host. I need to have high ratings, high reviews. So I need to be high in the ranking when people look for us, right? So it's about preparing your listings, making sure they stand out. But that you have to do always, right? Even in high season. And then there's the pricing. What will happen is last minute, everybody in Dubai with an Airbnb will give this immense discounts because they realize, damn, I have nobody for the next 2 weeks and I need to pay my rent in a bit. So what am I going to do? I'm going to decrease my prices. I already did that. I already gave an additional, let's say 30% discount on all my listings for the slowest months. So I'm getting a lot of bookings. I'm getting a lot of bookings continuously. So I don't have to fight the price wars. I just have the bookings already in place. That gives me some peace of mind. Still, I'll probably lose money in the summer. I'll probably lose money, but I just hope that I minimize the amount of money I lose. That's what I'm trying to do right now by preparation. That's the core thing.
Okay, so that's how you manage your slow season, right? You lower your prices in advance, and I like that strategy because that's what I do for my business as well.
Yeah.
And that you could coop some of that bookings way in advance, so you have to worry about those price wars later on. So, since you were talking about money, I'd like to know what type of premium do you make above the rent all year long?
Yeah.
Seasonality, I understand. But all year long, how much premium do you make above the rent?
So let's say, the metric I like to use is the rent revenue multiple or revenue rent, depending on which one you put where. But I expect to make between 1.7 and 1.8 times on average the yearly rent as my revenue. That's a good profit. If you do it at scale, if your revenues are high. So this is also the reason why I don't like to take these small units, these studios, these one beds, here in Dubai at least, different market in the USA obviously. First, because I compete with hotels. I don't really like to compete with the hotel. There are a lot of hotels here in Dubai. And second, because the cash I make, the cash flow per unit is relatively low. But to answer your question, between 1.7 and 1.8 times the rent would be my average multiple for my revenue compared to my rent I pay.
Okay, so then how much percentage of profit do you make off that 1.8 multiple?
So let's take one unit as an example,
Yes.
right? That might be a good one. So let's say I have one unit in downtown that is, the rent is 180,000. It has a nice view and revenue at the end of the year could be, if I do a good job, approximately 300,000 dirhams. All right. So what we then have is we have 120,000 dirhams in a year as a margin, as a gross margin. Then obviously I have to pay my utilities, and I have to pay my the ongoing costs, maintenance, etc. Maintenance, I like to I don't really calculate too much maintenance costs because I have my insurances in place and I have air cover obviously, because so if something breaks and a guest breaks something during their stay, then that's basically covered by air cover in case of Airbnb. So that covers that part of the maintenance cost, replacement of broken things. Of course, there's ongoing maintenance, but in Dubai, with most of the buildings, for the first year, you get a warranty. So all the actual maintenance in the apartment is being paid for by the developer. Let's get back to the 120 dirhams, 120,000 dirhams. Let's say the utilities, etc., are max 30,000. That wouldn't be more than that. I think it's actually less, but let's say 30,000 to have some margin for other expenses. Then you have 90,000 dirhams left in a yearly basis, and that is realistic. So that's depending on like on the revenue, 90,000 divided by 300,000. How much is that?
Oh, I'm not good at math with that. You gotta figure that out for me.
Yeah, I think
I'm just the host of the podcast. You gotta be the smart guy.
So that's the 90,000 out of 300,000. Let the viewers like calculate it on the calculator. So that's a good apartment, right?
Yeah.
I also have an apartment that might break even this year.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna review everything, why and what to like improve in this apartment. It's not always like party and just cash and everything good. There could be like also units where you don't like make money. But that's my worst unit right now is breaking even. That to me is not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah.
So then back to your example of one unit. If you have one unit at the end of the year, if the rent is say 200,000 dirhams, 180,000 dirhams, after all your revenue, your cleaning, utilities, maintenance, softwares, any admins, any employees, everything.
Yeah.
On that $200,000 rent, how much profit would somebody make in Dubai?
200,000 dirhams. So that's the so if you pay 200,000, then for this specific unit, because I now calculated with like 180,000, but this unit might as well been 200,000. It depends on the deal you get. There could be 90,000 for the 90,000 dirhams in case of a 180,000 dirham rent, and 70,000 in case of a 200,000 dirham rent. Okay. So that could be the profit for you.
That's a profit. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's a pretty good profit for one unit.
But I must say there are still other costs, right? There are still company costs. You got to do your trade license. You have your employees. I have like my office. I have my transportation costs, etc., etc. So this profit per unit is the profit actually allocated to this specific unit, and not the company profit in general, because there are some costs.
So
that you have
basically,
to
what you're telling me is you need to scale to make this worthwhile.
You need to either do it by yourself and be an Airbnb host for like one unit and do everything by yourself and not scale and don't have this office requirements and employees and transportation and all those things. If you do it by yourself, you can make good money. You can make 100,000 dirhams in one unit. That's what you can do if you do it by yourself. But that's not what I came here for, right? I wanted to have something passive. Then you have to scale. You're not gonna like make good money if you have like 2 or 3 units and you have a company and you have a team and you have an office and you have all these things. That's not going to work. Yes, you need to scale in order to have a profitable business. To run a profitable Airbnb, you can do it by yourself if that's your ambition, which is fine. But it's there are 2 different things.
So if you scale to 100 units, did you calculate how much revenue that is?
100 units. In high season, I'll make the million. So I always like say that I want to make a million a month in revenue. That's my goal. So in high season, I'll go above that with 100 units. In low season, unfortunately, I won't get close to that. But my goal is to have $1 million a month in revenue. Right now in the company, since I started up until now, I just like looked it up like yesterday. We have like in dirhams 4.3, I believe, million dirhams in revenue since we started, which is great, man. Yeah, it's more than $1 million. But now that's in 10 months, right? I want to do it in 1 month. So that's the goal.
It's crazy to me, like, those dollars are a lot of dollars. Yeah. But as you start scaling and adding units, it ends up becoming like fake dollars and just numbers on a spreadsheet, and it's just ins and outs, and it's like Monopoly. It's like you're playing a game, and it's just like fascinating. But like it is real dollars at the end of the day.
True. I remember last time I had like, obviously, on the scale that you're working right now, you have the same, but even bigger most likely. I remember last time I had like $1 million dirhams on the bank account, and I had to pay like all these checks, and all these expenses. And like 2 days later, I had like 100-something thousand. Like, where did my money go, man? That's actually also how like a lot of people don't like manage to grow their business. They will see the $1 million, a million dirhams in this case, and they will start like, I don't know, like renting fancy cars and doing stupid things.
So I'll say one story before I continue, but I made a post on social media and I made almost $1 million in the month of March. And after all my expenses, it was like negative $26,000. And everyone on Instagram went crazy. They're like, you made $1 million in an Airbnb, but then you had a loss. Well, you're the worst entrepreneur. This is a terrible business model. And it went viral, right?
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. Like, the money cash flow in this business is just crazy. And you have to really manage that cash flow.
Right. It's so... so interesting that people like judge immediately, right? So they just see something and they immediately want to like throw their judgment.
Which is good in the case of wanting to go viral. So I literally like that. So now I'm trying to figure out ways to like piss people off. So that's like my next thing. But anyways, okay. So and we talked a lot about your business, but tell me a little bit about social media and your personal brand and the community that you created.
Yeah. So it started like when we met for the first time. You're actually influencing me, telling me like, dude, create a social media account and just post your journey, man. It can be so interesting, can be so rewarding.
So I know a star, right? So when I did a podcast with him on my balcony with the bird's view and the way he was talking and explaining things, I'm like, man, you have the look. You could make it happen. And I'm happy you took that, encouragement to make this happen. So, and to see where you're at now, like, it's like crazy. Like your social media is great. You have a huge community and everything. So I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I cut you off. But
no, all good. All good. I mean, it was. I just at some point I just decided to do it. Right? You invited me for the podcast on the balcony, and we took some pictures. We're walking in downtown. I just, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna start and post something and then see where it goes. Right. And luckily I have an amazing team also, editing and all my videos and creating all these beautiful videos, and that helps as well. But just the fact that so many people are interested in what I have to say and how my story goes and what I'm what goes well and also what goes wrong, my successes and also my failures, that's new to me, right? I even, like, we had it last time when we went out for dinner, like someone coming to us like, hey, I know you, you're the Airbnb guy. Like, well, I don't know if I'm the Airbnb guy, but I post about Airbnb, so and that happens often. So that's
a cool feeling, right? It's a very cool feeling to like going out to like public places and people coming up to you and be like, hey, I know you, I follow you on Instagram, you're awesome,
That was like really interesting to me that happened. And the funny thing is I was with you and another friend of ours and both of you have a lot of followers too, right? Okay, so if you know me, you must know them too. And she was like, I don't know, let me check. Wait a second. So
they brought up all our Instagrams and showing us that they follow us and stuff. So it was like cool to have that.
Absolutely. So that's an interesting journey to me. And I get like people coming to me like when I'm walking outside and asking me questions about Airbnb, which I'm not used to, but it's fun. It's fun. Honestly, it's fun. And it's great. And you get to like help people too. It helps in two ways, right? It gives you some kind of authority as well, because people more easily trust someone who they kind of know already, because I've been posting a lot, right? So they kind of know me already. I'm not a stranger when I talk to them and I might want to manage their portfolio or they want me to manage their portfolio. It's easier for them if they already know me. Then even now, the people I interview, I have final interviews for the job positions. They're like, yeah, I saw your videos and I really like the way you reason and talk and the way you think. I'm like, okay, wow.
They trust you right away.
That's it.
And you never even met them and they trust you and they want to open up and tell you everything. Right?
Yeah, and it's very valuable. But so it's a responsibility at the same time. And that's also new to me. Okay, so I have this responsibility now. If I post something, I shouldn't like go out and about and say like, hey, it's super easy, you can make $1 million. Because it's not true. It's not easy. You got to work hard. You will fail. You will succeed. At the end of the day, if you do all the things right, like well, and learn from others' mistakes, etc. But back to the content journey, the posting journey, the personal brand. It's fun, and it's so nice also that I set up this community. There are like, I think 120 members right now.
Wow, 120 members.
It's really,
and you just
really
started
great.
that community a couple of months ago, so I can't even imagine what it's going to grow to.
It can grow way bigger. But on the other hand, I might also think about like not growing it too much, too like with more people, but maybe helping out the current members more, maybe providing a bit more additional like attention when needed, where needed. But for now, the community is still open, and I'm still open to accept new members in the community. It's a lot of fun. We have weekly Q&As. People share their journey. People get their first apartments. Also challenges people like encounter and how they solve it. Like the dynamics in the community board and in the Q&As is great, man.
Yeah,
It's a
I
great
agree.
vibe
Like
from
I
it.
said, I'm in part of that community, and I use it as my resource to help me get my business started here.
Yeah, I think we have to wrap it up in a bit.
Yeah. Okay. So, where can people find you and reach out to you?
So people can find me on Instagram, BNB in Dubai. I'll put it in the description as well, and also where they can find you is the Instagram handle.
Yeah, my Instagram handle is Syed BNB, so you could follow me on Instagram. Follow us both, and you'll see a lot of what we have to offer.
Yeah, so do that, and perhaps see you in the community. And Syed, thank you again for having this great conversation. It's always a big pleasure talking to you.
It's always good. I feel like we could go on for hours, but
we could.
Yeah, but
we could.
We'll do this again.
For sure.
We'll follow up in a couple months and see where you're at with the business, and we'll go from there. But I appreciate you answering the questions. It was helpful for me. I was learning, and yeah, just follow us both on Instagram, and we'll catch you guys later.
See you later.